Browns still have Baker Mayfield. He still has not been traded. Kevin Stefanski reportedly hoping for some kind of closure here, as are, I'm sure, a lot of Browns fans. Josina, what's the latest on that actually happening?
It's very interesting because you mentioned Kevin Stefanski and alluding to the fact that something will happen soon. Obviously, soon is a relative term. But when you talk to people behind the scenes, it's really interesting how wide open folks are with their exasperation of the situation in comparison to the walls that were held up, around Baker in the situation for so long. The walls are down on this situation and how quickly things can turn. Jonathan, you and I have been covering this league for so long, and it just goes to show you how your fate and future in the National Football League can turn on a New York minute. Just a few games ago, Baker Mayfield was celebrating, I believe, a win against the Patriots after, the departure of OBJ and having his highest passer rating at that point of the league, and then subsequently going to his lowest passer rating of the season at that time. And it's just amazing how things change. And so now the question becomes, where is he going to go? And I thought it was interesting, Jonathan, that he puts a statement wide open about his emotions, about how he feels about this. So you could tell me how you feel like that's impacted the situation. Then, through sources, you let it know that you want to go to the Colts, and the Colts let you know that they would rather have Matt Ryan before they pick you.
They probably would have rather had a lot of people before they picked him.
And so now when you look about the teams that need a starting quarterback, or a veteran quarterback, whether it be the Seattle Seahawks, whether it be the Panthers, or what have you, this to me is question number one as to where he is going to end up.
I don't think, Josina, anybody really wants him right now. I'm not sold that the Seattle Seahawks want him, because if they did, they would have him by now, or maybe they're going to wait it out because they know the Browns aren't going to go into week one with him. I think the whole NFL knows that. Are you going to cut him? Well, you really don't want to cut him because you'll be on the hook for most of his contract, whatever you'll be making up the difference of whatever someone's going to pay him, and certainly they would pay him the league minimum of right over $1 million. The Carolina Panthers don't want him because, well, they got Sam Darnold and just traded off a second and a third for him, so they don't have anything to give for Baker.
And I'm not sure that Baker wants Carolina. A lot of these players have an issue knowing, and quite frankly, to be transparent about here, in terms of their opinion about the security of the staff with the Carolina Panthers, and, oh, by the way, who's, coaching the quarterbacks and all that other stuff, which is an interesting thing. But here's the thing, talking about Seattle, so originally I was hearing that, there was communication between Seattle and the Browns as far as what the market value is for Baker. You were hearing that there was talk that he's a second or maybe a third that can convert into second. And it's interesting now that this merry-go-round and this musical chairs has kind of already ended. What the impact of that now is on the market, as you just pointed out, in terms of when teams know that this, and see, this is why you keep quiet, because you invariably affect your own ability to leave by exposing your emotions, because AB, in protecting his Andrew Berry, he can't look like he's not getting something for you in return. So this is where over time that you have to learn about the business of transactional relationships in the NFL and keep quiet.
Look at Jimmy Garoppolo. We all know what his ultimate fate will be in San Francisco, or at least what San Francisco wants to do with him, and he has resigned himself to that fate. Is there a possibility that he's with the San Francisco 49ers in 2022? Sure, there is that possibility, but we all know that the Niners want to move on from him, and so both sides are essentially keeping quiet. No one's throwing shade at Jimmy or anything like that, and Jimmy's not writing open letters on social media. That was a ridiculous thing for Baker Mayfield to do, because nothing had happened at that point. Deshaun Watson was not on the Cleveland Browns, and now that Watson
But it was the fact that they dated him, that they flew from Cleveland to his town, so he was in his feelings, Jonathan.
I understand it, but, listen, he should have stayed off the Twitter, which is always good advice for folks when they are in their feelings. I don't know, Chris, to answer your question, I'm not sure where Baker Mayfield ends up. I don't think the Cleveland Browns know where Baker Mayfield is going to end up, and right now, we stand here today and sit here today, I don't think that he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, it's definitely a game of chess and chicken, because the teams on the outside know that he has to get up out of there. Meanwhile, Andrew Berry's trying to get a certain compensation package, so he, looks good in the deal. And now you kind of have this waiting game. And, oh, by the way, I'm hearing that Seattle's tone has changed with regards to Baker after, things came out about his affinity for going, wanting to go to Indianapolis. or, you know, how much of that is politics too, because typically the way that the Seahawks front office deals is that they want the other team to take on most of the salary. And you know that Andrew Berry's trying to offload that because, oh, I'm sorry, you just gave $230 million to somebody else. So, you know, you gotta figure out those equations, and time is just going to take more time.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.